Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends and comrades, I hope you're doing well. This is Kenya Revolutionary. Karibu sana, karibu sana, karibu sana, karibu. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Karibu kila mtu, karibu kila mtu. This, I will be here briefly, because it's late. It's probably 2 a.m. in Kenya right now. It's evening wherever I am. So I'll keep it short and sweet. The topic, as you can see, Mada Leo, it is time to march to StateHouse. Ruto must go. He must go. There's no way around it. Okay? After what happened today, we have to look at ways of taking him out of power. Okay? All right. All right. Today, the finance bill that the Kenyan people have been protesting against, has been unfortunately passed. It's a sad day, to say the least, but we move on. I want to quickly read the names of all those members of parliament who voted yes for this finance bill, because the Generation Z are actually targeting these people. These people, we are going to write their names down, and the process of recall will be activated. I talked about the process, the law which deals with the recall, in my video before yesterday, and we can look at it. We can activate that. We can start recalling them in August. The problem that we shall face is that I don't think their fellow parliamentarians shall vote to recall these people. You know how it goes. But we shall identify the names of these MPs. You can find the name from Oguda's page, Gabriel Oguda. He has the names, and a couple of other folks that, were giving out names of these so-called MPs, these dishonorable members of parliament that voted yes for this finance bill. Now, let me just start by reading their names. I'll read all 204 of them. First on the list, among the people who voted for yes on this bill, Samuel Chepkonga, Benjamin Kip Kirui, Marianne Kitany, Florence Gematia, Joshua Kandie, Kipkoros Makilap, Charles Kamuren, Koech Nelson, Alpha Miruka, Lynette Chepkorir, Richard Cheruyot, Yegon Richard, Gideon Ochanda, Catherine Wambilianga, Randikiri Mugambi, Kirema Nguchine, Komingoi Kibet, Victor Koech, Biengo Paul Kibichi, Patrick Ntwiga, Farah Maalim, John Kiari, Musa Sirma, Adan Kenan, Jepto Caroline Ngelechei, Lelemengit Joses, Omboko Milemb, Joanna Ngeno, Robert Pukose, Tungule Charo Kazungu, Baro Diko, Guyo Ali Wario, Edward Wakili, Kiruria Njoroge, Gabriel Kagombe, Robert Gichimu, Martha Wangari, Gimose Gumini, Karithi Kiili, Julius Taitumu, John Paul Mwirigi, Beatrice Kimei, Julius Ruto, Christopher Aseka, John Kawanjiku, Waithaka John, Wamuratha Wanjiku, Joroge Wanaina, Joseph Munyoro, Dindi Nyoro, Kimani Ichungwa, Didmas Barasa, Gonzi Rai, Kwenya Thuku, Wanjiku Muhia, Cherorot Joseph, Hilary Kosgei, Joseph Gitari, Nimrod Mbai, Rachel Nyamai, Peter Irungu, Fabian Kiule, Moroto Samuel, Oscar Sudi, Ronald Karauri, Adams Kipsanai, Gideon Kimayo, Beatrice Kemel, Julius Ruto, Christopher Aseka, John Kawanjiku, Waithaka John, Wamuratha Wanjiku, Njoroge Wanaina, Joseph Munyoro, Ndindi Nyoro have been said, Kimani Chungwa have said, Ndindi Nyoro, and all that stuff, okay? These are people that needs to go. Hi, Brother Benson, how are you doing? I'm glad to see you, brother. I hope you saw what happened, transpired in Kenya. I don't know if the maandamano is still going on, because I hear there was still protest at night, and one gentleman, one young man was shot. I think his name was Max or something like that, and shot to death. Actually, lost his life. So that's a sad incident, and there were people burning stuff in CBD. So it's been a relatively peaceful demonstration, but towards the end, I guess there were wakora who are, walikuwa na nyang'anya watu simu, wanapiga watu, and it is said maybe these guys were government sponsored, that used to actually portray these protesters as violent. We've seen that these guys were not violent. In fact, they were singing songs saying they were not violent. So this is something that we need to keep in mind. Now, there's a call now. There's a call to march towards StateHouse, because the events that are happening in Kenya are eerily similar to what happened in Sri Lanka, okay, where the people rose up and decided to go to StateHouse, and they went to the presidential palace and took over, and the president had to jet out of the country and stepped down. So I'll play a clip of the Sri Lankans that did that, and then I will show what transpired earlier today in Kenya, what happened. Okay, so let's get started. Let's get an idea, because there's a lot of people who are starting trending. It's trending right now. The hashtag Occupy StateHouse is actually trending right now, because watu wamesema sasa the next stop is to actually remove Ruto. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies and comrades, before I even play the video, make sure you like this video and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. If you're watching this for the first time, go ahead. Don't waste any time. Subscribe, like, share, and put your notification on, so when I come in every time, you will see me. As I said, I won't be here for long, but I just wanted to touch on what transpired today. Let me show you the video that happened in Sri Lanka. Then we shall show you some highlights of what transpired today. It was a largely peaceful protestations by the people of Kenya, the so-called Gen Z, but it was more than Gen Z. There were, people of all ages, okay, who stood up against this finance bill. But these parliamentarians, most of them being from Kenya Kwanza side affiliates, after having that meeting with the president, they decided to vote to pass this finance bill that majority of Kenyans have rejected. If you've been living under the rock, remember in Eldoret, there was a huge showing. People flooded the streets. Eldoret is considered Ruto's hometown. But people stood up. Even the perceived Kalenjins, walikuwa walijitokeza, saying this finance bill is not something they're happy with. So let me play you this video and show you just a little bit how this thing started, because the next hashtag is to remove Ruto. He, along with his MPs, have decided to blatantly disrespect, disregard Kenyans' call to reject this finance bill, but he has refused. He has refused to heed to the call of millions upon millions of Kenyans to scrap this finance bill. Ametuonyesha ati yeye hajali, he will do whatever he wants. And I think now the Kenyan people are about to show him that, hey, listen, you are our employee. You do not get to decide. We, the people, get to decide. Let me show you. Let me start by the Sri Lankans. Because now, before I get to this new hashtag that's started trending, I know it was Occupy Parliament. And this thing was actually global. A Chelsea football player, if you follow soccer, Cole Palmer, stood up with the people of Kenya. He wrote it in his tweet saying, I stand with the Kenyan people, Occupy Parliament. Now it's Occupy StateHouse. Ruto needs to go. His behavior, along with his members of parliament, because remember, I told you, removing these members of parliament, recalling them through the process by law will be very hard, because you have to wait 24 months after the election, which will be in August, to make it 24, and you can't remove them 12 months before the next general election. And there's also some criteria that you have to meet before you remove them. They have to, it has to be something that meets Chapter 6. The petition can only be filed by some, the motion can only be filed or initiated by someone who hasn't run for their that area, and so forth, so forth. I read it here in a couple of videos ago. You can go check it on my videos on my channel. So if we are to use the law to remove or recall this parliamentarian, it's going to be an exercise in futility. We are not going to remove them. So let's go to the target, the head target, the head honcho, who probably gave them billions, if not millions, for them to vote no. I mean, even Jalas voted no on this bill. Esther Passaris, who everyone was calling for her head, saying that they will give her seat to Hanifa, who has been one of the faces of this movement, was worried. She got nervous and stood up and said, oh, I've listened to the people on the ground, and she voted no. After a few weeks ago telling us that she admires Ruto and this finance bill is good and all that stuff, but when she saw thousand upon thousand millions flood the streets of Nairobi, Kisumu, Nakuru, and other places, she got scared and got back to her senses. There are places, in fact, I heard in Bungoma, there are a couple of young folks who went to the speaker's house, Moses Wetangula's house, waliingia kwa compound, and they started, they were protesting, reminding Wetangula that they're against this bill. And now, like I told you, I had reports that on the ground in the evening, there were people who started marching to the StateHouse. In fact, Hanifa and Boniface Mwangi were pleading with some of the protesters, please don't go to the StateHouse. That might be a business, that might be a dangerous way of doing things. But I guess the train has left the station. There's no looking back. Yes, these guys are the faces of this movement, but by no means do they have total control of the crowds on the ground. This is not like an Azimio movement or protest where when Raila says, imetosha hapo, tusiendelee, tuache maandamano, and everyone heeds to his call. This is something that everyone goes out there because they are uniting. They're going there because they feel the pinch of this tough taxes, punitive taxes that we are under, that have been brought about by the IMF, World Bank inspired policies of this Kenya Kwisha regime. So it's hard to tell someone who's angry at Ruto to not go to State House to stop protesting after he has made his way on the ground. Hawa majamaa Ruto amewafika kwa koo. They are done. So the new hashtag is Occupy State House. It is time to march the State House and take over State House. Remove Ruto. Even if he doesn't step up to power, if the people go to State House and force him and waingie State House huko, it will be a show of humiliation. It will humiliate and remind Ruto that this is not a joke. This is serious. Let me play the video of Sri Lanka and get an idea of how Sri Lankans did it. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, like the video. I'll get started real quickly. Let me show you something that's similar to the what happened in all right. Here it is.
The announcement. They called Saturday D-Day, when protesters say the president and his government would be forced to step down. And by the evening came the announcement.
He agreed to act according to the agreement by party leaders and step down. But because he wants a peaceful transfer of power, he has asked me to inform the people of his decision to step down on July 13.
Many blame Gotabaya Rajapaksa for an economic crisis that's made life unbearable for many of the country's 22 million people. After breaking through barricades, yet another unprecedented moment, the demonstrators stormed into the president's official residence in Colombo. Inside, this is what it looked like. The president was moved by his security team to an undisclosed location earlier, while protesters ransacked his bedroom and took photographs on his bed. Within moments, the presidential pool, once reserved for the country's top leaders, appeared more like a recreational center.
Our government leaders must leave Sri Lanka. They can't govern the country properly. We have children and we're on the streets, leaving our jobs because we believe in this cause. We love the country and we are suffering.
Protesters charged the barricades outside the Prime Minister's house, which they then set ablaze. Rajapaksa's political allies know this is a crucial moment for their party. Anger is rising at the government's handling of a dire economic crisis, the worst. The frustration appears to have turned into a movement that can no longer be ignored.
In the end, neither curfew, nor a freeze on the distribution of fuel, nor a host of other intimidationary tactics were able to keep the tens of thousands of people away from Colombo, to drive the President Gotabaya Rajapaksa away. They say that successive years of mismanagement, corruption, and looting of the country's resources has brought the country to its knees, and they've had enough. Minna Fernandez, Al Jazeera, Colombo.
All right. Now, coming back to Kenya real quick, let's look at what happened. Sorry about that. Let's look at what happened in Bungoma, where the protesters went to the speaker's house. Walienda wacha tueleze nakwambia. I'm telling you, this thing, hii kitu imeshika moto. This is Bungoma. The speaker's house. Now, I'm not one of the organizers. I'm not connected to anybody there, but I want to applaud everyone that was involved in this movement. And the worry is, you see, there's advantages and disadvantages of this such movement. With the Azimio one, at least it can be controlled. Raila anaweza kusema tuache, and it stops. This one, you can't really tell them when to stop, because everyone is going there according to vile government imemsinya. Hasira yake, the level of their anger is what's taking them there. And the issue is not around a personality, a politician, a victory of a political party, a victory of a certain candidate. This is an issue that Kenyans, regardless of their tribe, class, political affiliation, age, are going out there to protest. And if they, in unison, decide that let's go occupy the State House and remove Ruto, Mr. Ruto, President Ruto, if you're listening, there's no amount of tear gas, there's no amount of bullets, there's no amount of police officers that will stop the will of the people. In fact, I will be curious to see what comes next, because the talk is they will be going back then again tomorrow to protest. How far are they going to? We don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll keep it short today. I had a bunch of videos. I know this is late. I just wanted to speak on this and salute the soldiers, the men and women who are out there protesting against this finance bill. To the young man who lost his life in the hands of the police, may you rest in peace. You are a hero to many. You are a hero to many Kenyans. In fact, you're braver than Jomo Kenyatta. You're braver than Moi. You're braver than Kibaki. You're braver than Uhuru Kenyatta. You're definitely more brave than this Arap Simoei Ruto for showing up and protesting peacefully without destroying anyone's property, robbing anyone, burning cars. You showed up. So I salute that young man who lost his life, and may his family find peace, knowing that their son fought for the freedom of this country. So I salute Generation Z and anyone else, millennials, baby boomers, and everyone else who attended these rallies, whether it was in Nakuru, Kisumu, Thika Road, Nairobi CBD, Eldoret, and for those MPs that voted no, that's the way to go. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends and comrades, it's been a pleasure. I'll see you again tomorrow. Please, I impugn you. Subscribe, share, like, comment, and put your notification on. I'll leave it there for now. Peace and blessings.